Debbie. So I'm going to ask one more question of my own, and I'm going to actually merge it together with a question from Lewis. Hi, Lewis. And the question, I'm going to ask Mickey this one. And my question is, in the fight for democracy, what voices and initiatives really matter in terms of shaping policy? You know, we support a lot of work that relates to this, but in terms of really actually shaping the policy and reaching through to the MKs, what kind of work do you think really matters in that context? And then Lewis's more specific question is that given the legal setbacks that Daniel was describing earlier, that have happened despite our great work, all of our collective efforts, do we need to start considering new strategies or different strategies to promote our goal? And I know that you have a lot to say about that, Mickey, so I want you to go ahead and answer both of those together.
Thank you, Libby. I think first of all, I want to give you some news that just came out. The Prime Minister will hold a special session about the nation state bill because of the opposition of the Druze community to it. He got it too late, but he really realizes there is a problem, and there is a problem because of the level of integration of the Druze community within Israel. They were trying to be racist only towards Arabs who are not Druze, and all of a sudden they found themselves in a very problematic manner. But I'm gonna touch a few things that I think that were very effective. I want to, of course, mention, and not only because Debbie is here, but the work of the ACRI, the Association for Civil Rights in Israel, was very meaningful in the work that we do in the Knesset. The level of, it's not only about the work and contacting the members of Knesset, but it's also the ability to update them, let them know what they work on, and the really specific work of Debbie basically is very meaningful and create change. Whoever was able to read this legislation when it started and where it is today, there is a major change despite the said result, but there is a major change. It was supposed to say clearly at the beginning that Israel is only a Jewish state with no democratic elements. This entire paragraph was taken away. It's major. And I think that our specific work in the Knesset is very meaningful. But not only that, one of the things that I know that our own Shatil, along with Debbie and others, were doing is actually bringing different voices and getting organizations together to speak. So one of the groups that were brought in to Knesset and integrated in an organized manner is the feminist groups, right? Because we were at a certain point very worried about the implications of this legislation to women's rights, because if the religious Jewish law was integrated into basic laws in Israel, we're in different position. And the fact that we were able to integrate all the feminist groups to speak up together, including Orthodox feminist groups and other, it was very meaningful. Organizing is very important. Same thing happened with the LGBTQ community. Our ability to bring different organizations from the LGBTQ community to speak in the Knesset was very meaningful. So organizing and getting different groups talking together and tackling the system from different sides is very effective in this matter. The other thing which is very effective as well, and it sounds maybe very clear to some of you, but knowledge. Members of Knesset deal with a lot of legislation. Many of them are not really aware of all the work, all of the implications. And I do believe some of them today that they say, we didn't realize what will be the implications to the Druze communities. So getting them more involved and knowledgeable is very important. So that's the Knesset work, and I think that we can do a better job at organizing, but we're very effective in that. And the fact that we are not in the most extreme position, it has a lot to do with us. The second thing I think which is very important is our work on the grassroots and protesting and pushback that we do on the streets. Just 2 weeks ago, our grantee, Omdim B'Yachad, the Reform Movement, Peace Now, and others brought together a demonstration in the heart of Tel Aviv. Not a huge one, about 7,000 people went to the street, but this kind of pushback is heard in certain places. It lets more people know about it. Also, a lot of the work that we've been doing, which was quite effective, is actually getting people with higher profiles, academic, celebrities, people with voice, to speak against this legislation and the implications of this legislation. And I feel that the fact that we still hear about it in the news and it's not off the media stream means that some people, mainly us, I mean our grantees, work on it. So I think that, and I think that there is another very important thing, that it must be a last resort, although we have to do it, is the petitions to the Supreme Court. At the end of the day, when we fail and when we see that non-constitutional bills are being passed, we have to appeal to the Supreme Court. And as we heard from Debbie, the work that Adala and Akri and others do on this matter really matters, and people are afraid. And part of the elements that we heard that we're taking out because the legal advisors for the Knesset said we won't be able to protect this format of wording within the Supreme Court. So our work in the Supreme Court has a lot of meaning, also to deteriorate them to do part of the work. Now, about the question about our new strategies, definitely that's a really important question.